Hi, Bernhard.
Hi, Carsten.
What are we doing today? We do an additional video that is not
Yeah,
planned, but it's
yeah,
very important, right?
yeah. I think so, and maybe the audience, will judge on after the video. So
Of course.
it's about a manual download process. So the previous one was about downloading the images from the marketplace, right? So why on earth would you want to do a manual download process, right? So or why would you bypass the nice Azure Marketplace download process?
Let me
Um,
guess. Let me guess. Maybe not everything that is possible is available in the marketplace yet, right? Okay.
You are correct. Well, let's differentiate a little bit. So the Azure Marketplace is quite big, right? So it's not only containing the Microsoft images there, it's also third-party images there, right? So even the ones that we don't provide, but others, partners,
Hmm.
or other customers provide, right? Or other companies provide. So this list here, right, comes from the team that from the Azure Stack HCI team, right? And basically, this is a sort of a curated list, or that there are people behind that list that actually fill it, update it, maybe take out some things, and you may not find everything there, right? So in our case, we wanted to have the Windows 11 multi-session image, the latest one, 24H2, because we don't want to patch a lot.
Mhm.
However, with Office, right? So, or with the Microsoft 365 apps. And from the list here, I can't find it.
Yeah.
So that was the motivation for that video, and we are going to show you on how to download that one because it's already in the marketplace image, although it is not listed as a downloadable item for HCI. Right?
Okay. How do we do that?
Okay. Let
Let
me
me guess.
go back.
PowerShell, huh?
Yeah. So let me maybe move you a little bit through the theoretics, and then we do it we do it practically, right? So we need to do some PowerShell scripts. We provide you with some PowerShell scripts here. The scripts are 1, 2, 3 that I will run in that order, right? So the first one would be, hey, we need to select an image first that we want to. This will create a disk in the Azure portal in my subscription. Next step will be we download that image from Azure to HCI, right?
Mhm.
And as this image is really big, right? So remember from the previous video, all that we can get from the Azure Marketplace is not thin provisioned. These are fixed size disks, full provisioned, 127 gigs most of the time images, and hence, we want to optimize that, move it down to something smaller that we can shift around a little bit more easy for creation of virtual machines.
Mhm.
Okay,
Yeah, because
so
if we deploy our host pool, there are many machines with this image. And if it's
mm,
127 and we need only 40, for example, we copy a lot of data around multiple times. Yeah. So let's
right,
do this.
yeah. So
And you
here's
will,
yeah,
yeah, here's a link. Yeah, you have it.
yeah. Okay, so yes, let's do it. So let me switch over to the machine where we started. This will be our drop location, right? So it is on the cluster. It is on the cluster storage. It on the cluster shared volume. You have created a collect CSV and a subfolder called images, and there we will place it in. Okay.
Mhm.
So the next thing is, let me go to the GitHub repository and do a copy and paste of the code. However, you need to sort of modify a little bit the values. So let's open it up in the PowerShell scripting environment for ease of use, right? And depends a little bit on if you have the Azure modules already installed or not. If not, they will be installed for you, right?
Bernard,
Next thing,
small question. Do
yeah,
you need administrator rights or the
yes,
normal PowerShell?
good point. Let me just
Yeah.
relaunch the PowerShell one more time because you definitely need to be, have the administrator context. So let me drop that here and delete the other one. Good catch. Thank you for this. So, okay, so that's our first script. Basically, I don't run everything all at once. So let's maybe run it in chunks. So let's maybe go to this piece here and just download the modules if we haven't installed them, and then log on to our Azure subscription. But it seems that we have already the correct modules. So let's
we
move
tested
over.
it, of course.
Yeah.
You are doing now a device log on to Azure, right?
Correct. So let me just, take the Azure subscription that I'm already logged onto, and then select the user which has permissions to it to create resources in the resource group. And now let's move back to the thing. And as you see here, which is kind of new, we mentioned this, or we have noticed this, so that there is now a selection window in the login AZ account module, right? So that is new. As this account has permission to 2 subscriptions, let's select the right one, which is this guy here. For the people that don't have that selection, here is, in previous times you could code this in order to do that as well. If this is now superfluous step here, because the Azure team did that for me. But if not, you can chill if you don't have that dialog.
Normally you have only one subscription, right? So here is
yeah.
Either you are a bigger company, so you have
Yeah.
multiple subscriptions, or you have one and you don't need that step, right?
Maybe I'm paranoid because I deployed, stuff already in the subscriptions that I did not want, and hence this is maybe not the best way of producing costs. Okay. The next step of code, I run all at once, right? I don't go into the details. If you want to learn more, have a look into the code, but I want this video to be crisp and short because Carsten is already a little bit impatient, right? So I'm just talking you through what happens here, right? So first of all, the Azure images, that are are specific to the region. So not every region has the same images, right? So you would, and also it probably makes sense to take a region that is close to you, right? In my case, that's probably West Europe or Germany.
Let's take West Europe. I think there are more images available there than in Germany, maybe.
Here is a list, and from the bar on the right, you could see how many different publishers we have on Azure for the marketplace images, and it's huge, right? So you can get lost very easily. So what I'm typing in here is, take the desktop images, and the ones that come from us are called Microsoft Windows Desktop. You see it also here in the example button at the top.
Yeah, why we don't choose Microsoft Azure Virtual Desktop? You know that, okay? But if I would see that, I would choose Azure Virtual Desktop. That was a line below that.
Okay, so maybe that's a new one. To be honest, I haven't. The one that I've been using was always the one that was in the drop-down box for the that we were been using. Maybe they haven't looked into the new one. So you got me.
And this can of course change, Bernhard, right? So this is now, we are end of October already. This is what we have now. But if you watch the video maybe in half a year, when we are ready with the videos, then maybe it changed. Okay, so you have to look for your image where it is.
Yes, probably.
Now we find it here.
Probably you need to run that tool multiple times. Doesn't hurt, right? I mean, however, you need to navigate you a little bit through in order to get the right image that you want. Okay, so Windows 11 preview. Well, I mean, that's we don't want to have Windows 11 without Office. So the Office ones are still under the Office minus the 365 branch. So let's take the one that is, has Office on it, and the AVD ones are listed here, right? So there are a lot of previous versions as well, Windows Server versions maybe as well. But the ones that I would love, or that we didn't find in the drop-down box, was the 24H2 with the AVD section, right? So that's AVD is sort of the notion for the multi-session keyword. Okay. There will be different patched versions of it, right? As the time goes along, updates will occur, and we will keep, I think, up to five versions that you can choose from. However, I don't want to update a lot, so I take the latest one. And what that does then, now Azure or the script has all the information, what kind of image you want. And now you will be asked for into which resource group should I put a clone of that image to, right? So I'll select this one. And what happens now is that from based of the image information that you have, we will create a virtual hard disk that is placed into the resource group. So let me just go back to the subscription and go back to the resource group. Yes, I don't need that. So let's go to the corresponding resource group to show you that it's there. And this is the disk that was just created and that we want to download onto our Azure Stack HCI. All right. You can do the download manual, right? So the way how it works would be you create a temporary access token or a download URL for exporting that thing. That could work. However, the reason why I'm using the PowerShell approach is downloading is done probably much better using proper command line tools or proper tools rather than using the Edge browser, for example, right? So the best way of downloading stuff from Azure is as AZ copy, right? So Azure copy, because it would detect when an image contains nulls and it would not download the nulls, right? It would, whereas
so
a browser, faster. Yes, a browser would not pick it up. So this is the code for downloading AZ copy temporarily, and do the download using that tool rather than doing an HTTP request by yourself, right? So the next thing, we will create a temporary access token. That is that step here. So maybe let's run that because I still have a valid authentication context, or I should have a valid Azure context, right? So be sure that you execute the script in the same execution context as you have done the logon before. And then let's see if we have the access token, right? Or if we have a value for the access token, right? So that command usually here takes a while. Oh, that was not the right step. Now I flipped it. Let's flip back. So this grant AZ access disk, takes a while.
Now you have it, right?
I have it. Now let's copy and paste the location where to place it. And I can even, AZ copy is smart enough to work with file shares, UNC paths, right? So this one is okay. Now I would say I have the disk, so let's run that. And what we should see first, the download of the AZ copy, and then we should see AZ copy kick off and do the download, right? So that will happen.
Let me remark something, Bernhard, why we do it with an UNC pass, because we want to show you GUI tools. We could also do everything on the Azure Stack HCI hosts themselves, but they don't have a nice user experience. So we have to copy the code there, use Notepad, or install another editor that's maybe not you shouldn't normally not do that. So we do it on a management machine, and then we download it on another machine and copy it directly to a CSV on the Azure Stack HCI host. You can do that, of course, directly or in another machine. But we don't want to install another machine, another hypervisor. So we try to do that on our management machine and show you how the scripts work remotely.
Yeah. As said, you're correct. I mean, we are just issuing that commands here because that's a GUI-based system. We can create dialogues for selecting stuff. If I would have copy and pasted that code directly on the HCI system, it wouldn't provide me the dialogues, right? Because it's a headless system. It doesn't have the corresponding libraries for that.
Yeah.
Okay, but the final step. So now we are downloading that stuff, and you could see it from the task manager window here. So that may take a while. You do have a fast speed. So imagine,
at least for Germany, it's fast. It's a gigabit. In other countries, maybe it's even faster.
Yeah, so that's basically the same step as the Azure Marketplace download would do, right? So it would also copy on or download that image to your HCI system into a specific folder. Let's assume we are doing the same. However, we have chosen we have a little bit more flexibility on which kind of thing we've chosen.
Mm-hmm.
It will be most probably, as most of the images that we provide from Microsoft on Azure, it will be 127 gigs. However, for that one, only I think maybe 20 gigs will be taken, right? So we should see that the download will be finishing sort of at around 20 sort of percent, like or maybe a little bit less than 20%. Let's see how we see. And you will also see it then from the download, from the receive kind of bytes, that it will drop down, and that will be the step then when AZ copy will probably push it on to the HCI node into the folder.
Yeah, that's the advantage of AZ copy. It will not copy the zeros in the image. The image is 127 gigabytes, but only maybe 22 gigabytes are data. The rest is zeros, and that's the advantage. With an HTTP or with Edge, we would download the whole 127 gigabytes, so it would take longer, right?
Okay, so let's go and maybe prepare the next step. So as said, right, 15%. So now the thing has dropped for downloading, but AZ copy is now pushing it over to the HCI node. That will maybe take up to it will take up to 100%, and then it will be finished, and then we can have a look at our share or at our cluster shared volume into the image folder. However, it will be a big file. And we don't love to have the big file. So I go back to the GitHub repository and take the last code piece, which is the optimize disk step. So let's copy that. I think copy raw file. Yes, let's take that and paste it here, right? And this needs to be done on the HCI node or on the hypervisor, right? Because we are sucking in this disk, attaching it, and we are optimizing it. And I can only do that if I have the hypervisor functionality. So this is only the code editor here is only on my admin box, which would not be able to do it. So I need to have Hyper-V with the PowerShell libraries in order to understand that PowerShell command here, right? But before I do that, I need to probably check if the code or the source paths are correct, right? So let's maybe have a look at the folder there, right? It's not finalized there, so it will be this one, right? But it will take some seconds before that one is finished. So we probably pause the video here and fast forward it for you.
So I think it will not take too long now.
Yeah, these are the times that I enjoy most, right? So when IT is doing the stuff that you wanted to do, right? And you have some 3 minutes to just, stupidly look at something, right? Best moments, right?
Yeah. So, but we are nearly finished now. Rename it. Come on. Yes, now you have the names.
Right. Okay. So let's, make sure that I have the right thing. So let's just, do a copy as path and put it here one more time just to make sure,
but then you have the UNC path, right? You have
right,
to
which
remove it.
is, I need to, make it local from the perspective, remove the errors. Okay. Yeah. So, as said, this needs to be run in the context or in the session, in the context of the Hyper-V server, right? So I will do a PowerShell remoting now. So maybe let's enlarge that a little bit. So that will be enter PowerShell session to our two-core HCI
3. Yeah.
So that's, I think, one of the nodes.
It is.
When I have the context, let's maybe I'm paranoid, but let's cluster storage, collect. Then we have the images folder. So there is our AVD or our VHD file, and now we want this one to be a clone of it, optimized. A clone and optimized clone of it. Okay, that's probably the thing. So let's just, copy that code and run it here.
No, you can just run it there, my friend.
Yeah,
just run it in the window up there.
Yeah, you're right. You're so right.
Yeah.
So
sorry, but yes. So now
either
we
works.
do in the same directory, we create a VHDX file.
Yeah.
That's a newer format. Azure just use VHD files, but we create a VHDX file, and it's a dynamic disk, right? And it should be much smaller. In the moment, it's also 133. So you're just first doing the conversion to a VHDX, and then you compress it and compact it. Yeah.
Right. And I even do a defrag of it. I think that doesn't need to be done, but
you
the
go
compacting.
Always the extra mile.
Bernhard, yes, always. I think I think at some point in time, you need to mark or delete the nulls really in order that the optimization kicks really in, to be honest. So I think I spent quite a bit on that code in order to strip it down from 127 gigabytes down to, whatever it is. But as you could see here, same image basically, right? But much easier to distribute, and especially if it goes to an image folder, or an image repository where you clone a lot of VMs from, then that's much faster or enjoyable to work with.
Yeah. So, but I must confess, in the next two videos we will blow it up again, but not to 127, but a bit larger. It will get a bit larger.
Yeah. Right? So this is our source file for the next video, which is now we do the customization, and see you then in the next video what we do when we customizing this or why we're customizing it.
Okay. See you soon.